this one. So I'm just playing these files right now. Yeah, there you go. Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of EYD, Elevate Your Design. We're going to be taking a look at the same reel we looked at in the last reel review, and I went on and on about the slow motion gunshot here, so I spent about 45 minutes making my own. I went way too far with it. This could probably be, 1/3 or half of these elements would probably be sufficient, but I really wanted to fill it up with different ideas. So it's a lot bigger now. It's a lot kind of, you could say it's over the top, but in my opinion, this is what the visuals call for because they're so dramatic. So first I'm just gonna play. Sorry, I was gonna record myself making this, but it ended up taking about 45 minutes, and I'd have to speed it all up and only show certain parts. So I'm going to show you the finished thing, and then we're going to dissect it a little bit, talk about how these things were made. Every one of these sounds was made from Boom Library, so most of them are from the Mechanicals library that we talked about before. There's a couple from their cinematic trailer design library. I'll have the link to any library used below. And again, let me reiterate, this isn't to say I'm doing a better job than the person who originally made this reel or anything like that. It's just a different take, it's just a different style. I like it better, but it's my own work, so I have to be egotistical in that way. But hey, if you think the original's better, or you think there's stuff wrong with mine, please, by all means. I don't think I'm perfect. This is a creative art. I'm just trying to help you give you guys some ideas to maybe implement into your own, to fulfill your own creative visions. So let's play the original again, just so we have some bearing here. So the parts we're looking at is this slow motion fire, and then the slow motion bullet eject here. So one more time. Okay, and so this is what I did. So one more time there. So let's break those up a little. So the slow motion, the firing part is here. Let me actually just move this here so it's with its friends. So you can see this is for the gunshot, and then this is for the reload. And this was just a backup I put down here because I reversed this. So we'll go through and play each of these elements on their own, I suppose, quickly. That probably doesn't play. I was just trying to put tones in there to make it weird. That's a mechanical sound. As you can see, meds. Anything with meds here is from the Mechanicals library. That's the main fire part. The delay of that. That's that little gear creak of him shooting that I talked about in the previous reel review that I think works well. This is kind of distorted fire thing. Trailer hit. Oh, CPU overload. Kind of some of the motion of the fire. Low end thing. And that's a big mechanical crack thing that I think I even boosted. Made it really bright. So all together again. So as you can see, that's the main part there. So let's dig into this a little bit. Let me hide this, So try to give some tonality to the gunshot here. And pardon me guys, my energy's a little low. It's 12:30 right now, so I'm not sure if these even really play. You don't really even hear those. I could probably find better sounds for the pole. I was just trying to use Boom Library, so from what I found, I couldn't find any good pole resonant things, but that's easy to record on your own too. This I could probably mute. But let me show you how I made some of these. So let's remake. Let's go to this main sound here. So that's a big kind of metal thing that helps the fire happen. And so let's see, meds, large, Scrooge, safe. Hide these. There we go. And it's the very beginning. So without any processing. Sorry, it's pitched down a little. This is it, raw. So it's just this beginning. Let me try to remake what I did, because this is how it sounds without the EQ. Okay, so it's definitely compressed, good amount. And there's definitely this on it. Hey, pause. So it looks like I actually also that's about it. So, and people could say, sorry, there's one thing I wanted to say about this also. When I was doing the last reel review, I saw in the description, he actually made most of those sounds from scratch using synthesizers and things like that. I'm pretty sure that was a cannon shot he used in the gunfire, but who knows? He could have made it from anything. Or a musket shot rather. He could have made it from a synth thing. He could have taken recordings and done whatever. So that's kind of the funny thing about sound, is you never really know what things were made from. You can do a good guess usually, but so again, I'm not trying to bash this guy, but at the end of the day, you know, if this is playing for an audience, you know, there's not going to be any disclaimer that says, oh, this was made from raw sounds, you know, it deserves respect. These are pre-made, pre-designed sounds from Boom. You know, I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm using them. I'm not doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. I'm just making choices to use them. These sounds sound great already. So doing a little processing and stuff helps make them slow motion and surreal for the gun. But hey, at the end of the day, you know, if you want to be a purist, got an email. If you want to be a purist and only make sounds from things you've recorded and stuff, you know, power to you, but things are going to take a lot longer and they're probably not going to sound as good. One of the beautiful things about working in today's world is we have collaborations from all across the world of these people who make these beautiful libraries that sound amazing, and we can use them. And, you know, it's really up to us how much we want to process them or how much we want to change them, and how we want to layer them together. As you can see, there's still plenty of creativity, and you know, there's still plenty of editing, and each one of these is processed differently, as you could hear when I've sampled them each. Yeah, so yeah, I'm using design files from the Boom library. Sue me. You know, all the audience is going to know is that it sounds awesome. If you want to learn how to sound design from scratch, you know, from basic synths or from recordings, go for it. But honestly, in the real world, when you're having to get through material, and if you're doing this professionally, you're not going to have all day to sit there and tinker with knobs and you know, make a, you know, form a sound and be able to say, ha, I made that. And then someone walks up next to you and pulls up a sound from a library that sounds even better. So I think the goal here for all of us on this channel is just to make as badass sound design as possible, by any means necessary. And so we're never going to steal things. We're never going to use things, you know, immorally. But if there's publicly available libraries for sale, like these Boom libraries, yeah, let's use them. So yeah, so that's how I made this thing. It's literally just a filter freak going into a compressor with about 9.6 on it. I'm gonna blur that out because that's work slack. I'm actually gonna close out so I don't get those. I don't know why this isn't showing both windows at once, but you saw this is minus 9.6. It's doing a decent bit of compressing here. Nice, barely touching it actually. Could probably go even harder with it if we wanted to. Might be a little loud. Headphone warning. I mean, it gets a little crunched. Not as dynamic, but yeah, that's how we made this sound. And then as you saw, I put this EQ to bring out even more highs, and then for the whole thing it can sound like this. And that's a part of it. You know, the other part is this. So those two together, I'm playing these two now. Actually, you don't even hear that. I think that just gives it a little more impact. It just beefs up the head. It's basically the same sound, it's just upping the volume in the beginning. So yeah, that's how we did the gun. I tremoloed some fire here. It is just playing a little, it is just playing a high thing really, but it does still give it a little movement. Because we also have, I think, others that give it movement as well. That helps as well. Fire movement, that's what gives us movement. So that's a trailer, CTDS2, Cinematic Trailer Design something 2. And that's yeah, that's a good movement thing there. So our 2 movement sounds for the fire. Turn this up a little bit. And it has the, you know, anytime you have something spinning, tremolo is really good to have. All right, so let's quickly move on to the shell eject. So again, A, B it. Here's the original. Then here's what we have. So this one's a lot simpler. I can actually expand these. Let me just go through the sounds here from bottom to top, because that's kind of the order. So again, we have some inner gears. Oh, and sorry, something I forgot to mention here. You'll see these markers here. There's one right here. There's one right here. There's one right here and here. Each of these I wanted to have 2 distinct transient moments. So, and for the reload. So you can see I took my transients. I'm not sure if you can see these markers, but one is here and one is here. So one's at the beginning of the selection, one's at the end. And you can see that I actually lined up my transients for the most part. Sometimes they're staggered to help make sounds sound longer instead of just we have. That's a whole other video we can make. So you can see I did that to be, and you can kind of hear it if we play this again. So when you're using a lot of elements like this, you need to make sure that you have specific things you're hitting. If these were all just staggered across, you know, like overlapping and stuff, it would be really messy and it wouldn't be a concise, it wouldn't sound like one event, this gunshot. It would sound like all these, and it wouldn't be as impactful. And again, I did that here. I wanted, so you can hear again, if I play this, you see these 2 markers. I'll do that selection thing again. One's at the beginning and one's at the end. You can see I did my transients for the most part on or right next to those markers, and so you can hear there's 2 distinct hits there. That wasn't a good example. It's king. So let's break this down. So we have the gear thing, we have this. That's just kind of the start, and it's truncated a little, but there's other sounds happening right on top of it, so don't worry about the little click too much. I mean, do you really hear that click in this? No. So those are both mechanic sounds, these first 2, and that's just the beginning of the slide coming back. We have a trailer hit metal. That's one that I actually showed in the last reel review, and I did a little processing on that as well. Probably just a light. Well, we can listen to actually how it sounds. CTDS2 hit metal hollow. This, search again, there we go. Okay, way too much. Let's get this processing off here. That was nasty. Oh, the tremolo. Let's bypass all these. I pitched it up. Or I just left it. I had it really pitched up. I did. I pitched it way up. It's a little down from there, but yeah, up like 55%, it looks like. Yeah. I took this sound I wanted it to be bullet sized, so I pitched it up 55. And it still has power and punch. And it plays well in the whole thing, I think. So then I had a ring thing, so I have a basic. This is a little harsh, so watch your ears. Oh, I turned it down. I had it up louder earlier, and I was like, oh, when I played it. Then I put a little reverb on it. Very sustained reverb, so together that's... And that might not tonally work with this bottom ring, but I just wanted to have a couple different notes there instead of just a single one. I also EQ'd out some noise here, so you can hear without this. There's that hiss up at the top. A little more pure. There's still a little bit of hiss, but not as loud. So then, sorry, just this file here. So again, meds, large printing works long. I didn't do too much of this file. I might have added some R bass. I definitely pitched it down, maybe compressed it a little, but it's just a big Metal Gear thing. We should all have that in our library. Just another meds thing. And that was a reverb from... Actually, it was a reverb from this sound that I made, and I actually used it over here. So all together again. So you can see the main thing that we did differently here is we used the right library. We used big trailer hits in this, and I work at a trailer house, so I'm used to doing these things. I need a little more context for this, but judging by these visuals, they wanted something big and epic. So I do feel that using these sounds, I mean, even if you mute this trailer hit here, it still sounds pretty badass. I mean, so I just put that trailer hit in there because it has that that punch in the beginning, which kind of helps. Remember we were talking about in the last video, he's setting up for his next kill. So I wanted to add that punch impact, that, you know. Whereas now in hindsight, it's just the gun ejecting the shell, but still, there's still a deadly consequence to this shot. You're right, he's shooting at someone, so I think it deserves that intensity. But let me know in the comments if you disagree. I'm happy to entertain, and if you want me to do a less crazy over-the-top version of this, I'm happy to. But I mean, you can also just take a couple of these and play them. You know, maybe add the reverb, and maybe add like this one. So I'm just playing these files right now. Yeah, there you go. So if the mixer comes to this and they say, it's way too much, I just want to play it, they still have what they need. And then if the director comes and says, no, I want some punch in there, they can bring back this sucker. So anyway, just a little quick breakdown of this, helping us all elevate our design, trying to make it not too trailery. I'm probably going to do a film next time because this is what looks to be a video game and it's what I'm used to working on. So I kind of want to get away from that because I feel like most of us aren't working on things like this. We're working on more normal things that need, you know, regular gunshots or regular explosions, but still want to find ways to make them cool and unique, science fiction stuff. So if you guys have any requests you want to see me look over and maybe make my own design for it and show you and break it down, let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you enjoy the video, if you got anything out of it, please give me a like and subscribe, and I'll answer every single comment. So if you want to say hi, please do. If you have a question, hit me up. Yeah, have a good one, guys. Thank you.